Have I got news for you?
Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Alexander Armstrong. In the news this week, on his way to the Beijing National Museum, it's a bad day for the driver transporting soldiers from the priceless 2,000-year-old terracotta army. In Somerset, there's a possible explanation as to why construction of Hinkley C nuclear power station is 2 years behind schedule. And despite more criticism for its continued production of unethical tuna, the chief executive of John West tries to relax on holiday. On Ian's team tonight is a former banker who became a professional comedian. So successful, she's now laughing all the way from the bank. Please welcome Sindhu V. And with Paul tonight is a Labour MP who is also a member of the Labour Friends of Israel. Not quite sure who the other one is. Please welcome Jess Phillips MP. And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Ian and Sindhu, here is yours.
Oh, well, that's the President coming home from a war zone. That's Boris putting the laptop away quickly. And that's the uranium. The deal's been ripped up.
Yes.
Trump's diplomacy has reached new heights. He's convinced one nuclear power he's bonkers, and now he's moving on.
But he said it was a bad deal and the Iranians were cheating on it anyway.
Well, I mean, it is a bad deal, but again, everyone knew that. I mean, this very complex deal between Iran and the rest of the world is we give them a shed load of money and they don't blow us up with weapons. It's a very, very simple deal.
Yeah.
If you take the money away, then they probably will.
Yeah.
And Trump has decided it's worth the risk. It's a new world.
He has this idea, I think, that there can only be that much amount of nuclear stuff going on. So North Korea I've shut down, so this I have to start up. One in, one out.
So with the growing threat of nuclear conflict in the Middle East, a huge
And Boris, that's the important bit.
Yes.
That Britain really matters on the world stage.
Yeah. We're in good hands there.
We're in good hands. We sent Boris over to persuade the President not to do it.
Oh, yes, but he only appeared on a television programme that he knew that the President watches.
Called Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And he was suggesting that he should perhaps win the Nobel Peace Prize. You want to have a look at that?
If he can fix the Iran nuclear deal, then I don't see why he's any less of a candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize than Barack Obama, who got it before he even did anything.
I mean, he has got a point.
He has got a point. It's rather desperate, though, isn't it?
Fine.
They posed that picture just to show what he would look like if he was a building.
Anything else Boris has been up to?
Oh, well, we don't know, do we?
While he was over there?
Legal agreements.
Yeah, he's
from
also been
learning
walking along a corridor with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
Is that newsworthy?
I think so.
All right, let's have a look.
Great to see you, Mike. It's great to have you here. Absolutely. It's great. Thank you for making the time.
It's great. These are important times. So
They are.
thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
But he met Ivanka Trump as well, didn't he?
He did.
So he didn't meet the President, but he met the President's daughter, which for Boris, probably a win.
According to the Times, Iran has shipped out 98% of its enriched uranium. Where has it shipped it to?
Is it Salisbury?
I don't know. I just wonder who's got it. Donald Trump, though, feels his integrity is very much on the line with this decision. How did he round off his speech on the crapping of the deal? Let me do that one again. How did he round off his speech on the scrapping of the deal?
Oh, you were right first time, I think.
Yeah. He said, when I make promises, I keep them. I mean, to be fair, when it comes to election promises, he mostly does. Even his harshest critics at the New York Times admit he's enacted, or tried to enact, 75% of his election promises in the first year, although Hillary is still at large. Meanwhile, the media are hanging on Trump's every word. Let's see how desperate they are to capture even the tiniest little emission from the man.
Into trade between the U.S. and China, and we'll do it.
Are you sure that Michael Cohen...
Thank you.
So to Stormy Daniels, what's the latest claim on the Stormy Daniels case?
Michael Cohen it looks like he's been receiving money from Russian oligarchs.
He got vast amounts of money from these corporations.
Yes.
And he may or may not, just for the lawyers, have used that money to pay off the adult film actress.
Right.
I mean, it's so complicated. The money was coming to a shell company in which he's a consultant.
Right.
So there's all these... I mean, by the time you get to it, you don't care. You're like, fine, just take the bribes. Let's just change the news, please. I mean, you know, it's a shell company, and then it's him, and then there's the Russians.
Anyone would think you were a former banker.
You know, you can take the girl out of banking.
It's the first time this audience has ever cheered a banker when you came on.
Thank you. But they almost have to. I'm a brown woman. What can you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, you know, so it's a complicated thing. But the money
Right.
did go to Stormy, and it came from Cohen.
It came from Cohen. But in this strife-torn world, there is one small ray of hope. Which long-running conflict has finally been resolved this week?
Oh, Katy Perry and the Swift girl.
Taylor Swift. Yes. Joe, who made the vital first move?
I didn't know they'd fallen out,
Did
if
you
I'm
not?
totally honest. I shall get
You're
on what's
out
up
of
with
touch,
them.
the political
Yeah.
class. You've
I
got
know.
no idea. Real people's lives. Get with it.
Yes, this is Donald Trump's pulling out of the Iranian nuclear deal. If you're wondering what that squiggle is, it's his cardiogram from that night with Stormy Daniels. Paul and Jess, take a look at this.
Oh, this is President Putin. He's just heard that Donald Trump's at the door, so he's gone to see him. There's a man saluting him. He runs around quickly, that man. There he is again. Look, there he is. He's gone round the back. And here he comes. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be the leader. And there he is, meeting the man with the flattest head in Moscow.
We should say this was him being inaugurated, wasn't it?
Or his coronation, really.
Coronation.
Really.
Yes, this was the very, very long walk.
Yes.
How many minutes was it? I mean, we edited it down,
I believe it's about
obviously.
8 to 9
Yeah,
minutes.
it's 9 minutes.
I would have been tempted to show it in fast forward with the Benny Hill music.
Well, needless to say, obviously,
Yeah.
Twitter have done a little bit of clever editing for us.
Oh, have they?
Thanks to a Russian news blog, T-Journal, we've got this to enjoy.
Yes.
So much better.
The KGBGs.
During the ceremony, the head of Constitutional Court got his words in a muddle. How did he end up describing Mr. Putin's new term?
Forever.
He mixed up... There are two words in Russian that sound very, very similar, and he mixed them up. Instead of declaring his new term an appointment, he called it a crime. Very, very similar words in Russian. We won't be seeing him again.
Novichok on the doorknob.
I tell you what, let's mark this historic fourth term with a little quick buzz around. This is a little quick buzz around on Russia. Just a Russian. There we go. Yep, it's working.
Yeah.
Here we go. Our Russia round. Russia round.
Oh, brilliant.
Hey, there it is. Yeah. OK, traffic in Moscow is horrendous. What do wealthy Russians do to beat traffic jams? Yes, Cindy.
Helicopters.
Well, that would be sensible.
Yeah.
But no.
Move to Florida.
They hire fake ambulances. Which is incidentally how the cast of Holby City get home as well. What is the Russian tradition when it comes to bunches of flowers?
They must always be an odd number.
That's exactly right.
Oh, no.
They must always be an odd number. It's considered bad luck to give an even number. That's brilliant. It's bad luck to give an even number of flowers, unless at a funeral, in which case it's de rigueur.